Audio check 1 2 3. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the little delay getting on the mic here, but we're here for the Belgian Grand Prix, round 7 of 15 for the F1 League, season 4 here at Moto and F1 22. We currently got Dem Specky leading the race. Seem to have got the jump on Jerem, I think, off the line. Bennett keeping them quite close at the moment. You've got Game for Life on the medium tyres, the whole pack on the hard and the medium tyres. This track spar not very good on the soft tyres. It's been pretty well documented that they don't seem to work very well around here, and so everybody's gone for the more durable compounds. In fact, the top three all on the hard tyres, the highest medium runner Game for Life, trying to keep them currently in sight. Little Greavy about a second behind them. You've got NLD Carpentier ahead of Magfire making his reappearance drive tonight. Great to see Magfire out on track once again. Obviously has missed the first half of this season, was last season's runner-up in the championship. And yeah, currently on the back of Carpentier at this point. We've got Rednass there running in 8th place. Hot Wings making his debut tonight in 9th, with T just behind him at the moment. You've got a couple of seconds back to GGJ, who's running in 11th place. There's Raki, who's a long way behind GGJ at the moment. Oh, it's Magpie has made the move on Carpentier into the bus stop chicane and has got himself up into 6th place. DJ Phil has crashed out of the race, so I don't know where he's dropped it, but DJ Phil's dropped it somewhere. Let's run a ball with HD again and see if we can see where DJ Phil went off. See if we can spot his car parked by the side of the road. I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't quite seen it at the moment, so it must be coming around this corner here, I would imagine. Surely, no, and still no sign of DJ Phil's car, so not sure where he crashed out. Nonetheless, GGJ is in the pits at the end of lap 2, and in and out he goes. As we've got a battle for the lead here. DRS open for the first time in this race, but Joam didn't get DRS because of the double wave yellow flags through sector 1, 2 and 3. Don't think we got a safety car. I think we've got away without a safety car, but nonetheless there is a slight hold here as we got somebody dropping down the pack. What's happened to Game for Life? Game for Life's had a moment there coming through Lecombe, and he's down to P10. Was running in 4th place a few moments ago. Crescent Anime's got ahead of Raki up into 11th place. Twitch Storm's just coming out of the pits now. As HD Baguette is going to get ahead of Twitch Storms, they're up into P15. 16 cars left in the race. Crescent Anime's got back ahead of Raki. Raki looking back down the inside, coming down the hill. Here we come through No Name around the outside. Raki keeping it there and back up into P11. This is a good little battle from these two at the moment, and Crescent Anime can hear really revving the car to the max. I think runs without traction control by the sounds of it. But these two having a tasty little battle here for 11th place. Once again, I want to apologise to those of you joining us live on the Motive stream tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't get on until a little bit late due to the fact that basically, to cut a long story short, my NAM was being a nightmare, but Twitch Storms crashed out here, coming out of Lacombe. Really struggling to get that going again. Oh my god, he's over-revving that insanely. Nonetheless, Demsbecky and Joram currently 3/10 apart, as you've got Rednass, who's lost out to Hot Wings. So Hot Wings is up into P7 there, has made that move relatively routinely. Demsbecky and Joram still pretty close here as they're coming up towards Eau Rouge for the 4th time in this race. Joram, I imagine, will have DRS this time, unlike last time because of the yellow flags. Here we go, up through Radion they come. Now he's going to hit that DRS button, he's going to get that closing speed. Here comes Joram. Is he going to get there a little bit too late? I think he might do. Demsbecky's just going to hold on into Raccoon, but Joram letting him know he's there. As a little Greavy has got Magpie looking to his inside. Magpie's made the move up into P4. Hot Wings trying to get the move done on Rednass as well. Has Hot Wings managed to do it? Yes, he has. Hot Wings up into P7. Great stuff there from Hot Wings. Magpie now starting to make some progress here in this race. Obviously, he's on the medium tyres, so he needs to make this grip advantage work whilst he can, because obviously he'll be needing to put the hards on, so he'll be slower than the guys up ahead in the second stint. But he's doing it's been a good comeback drive so far from Magpie, to be fair. You know, he's had a little layoff. Obviously, he was runner-up in the championship last season. Hasn't been with us for the first half of this season, but is back with a bang by the looks of it. Now looking to try and chase down the podium runners. Oh, it's Joram's got ahead of Demsbecky up into the lead, coming up through Stavilo, and that's a great move there from Joram as Demsbecky looking a little bit loose there as they came through the next corner, the next right-hander after Stavilo. Now Bennett's going to be looking on the back of Demsbecky as well, and obviously Joram and Bennett, the top two in the championship, those two miles ahead of everybody else in the standings, so they've got it to themselves really this season. Always we got Demsbecky now looking to the inside of Joram, down towards the bus stop chicane they come, side by side into the braking zone. Demsbecky's going to try and hold it there. Joram's keeping it around the outside. We'll have the inside for the final corner. Didn't get a good run out of the corner though. And Demsbecky here will have to run down the start finish straight and gets the move back done on him there. So great stuff from Demsbecky. Game for Life with the fastest lap of the race, obviously on fresh tyres, I think. Where is he? No, he's not on fresh tyres, but he is on the mediums, and he's down in 8th place here in this race. But currently Demsbecky, Joram and Bennett separated by 0.6 of a second at the moment, as they're now coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion here. Demsbecki, once again, just no match for Joram with the DRS there. Joram breezes past him up into Lacombe. Once again, Bennett's now looking on the back of Demsbecki as well. You've got a couple of seconds back to Magpie. There's Little Greavy, Hot Wings, Rednass, Game for Life there ahead of T, who's running all by himself in 9th place. You've got NLD Carpentier there running in 10th ahead of Raki and P. Cheward. P. Cheward is quite close to the back of Raki here. So we see a DRS move down the Camel Straight, and P. Cheward, relatively routine stuff there, up into 11th place. Joram still your leader. He's now opened up a second of a gap here over Demsbecki on this lap since getting the move done on the Camel Straight. Now we've got Bennett now trying to put Demsbecki under a little bit of pressure, and that might be just slowing Demsbecki down ever so slightly now that he's got that Aston Martin of Bennett LCFC in hot pursuit at the moment. Rednass is still trying to get something done, trying to get back onto the rear of Hot Wings as they've now got Game for Life homing in on them. Obviously Game for Life set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, so he's got some momentum, but has made a mistake or two in this race so far, which has dropped him a little way off of the leaders in the first stint of this race. It's still Joram your leader by just over a second here to Demsbecki. Bennett's still keeping Demsbecki on his toes. Game for Life's made the move on Rednass up into 7th place and will now be looking on the back of Hot Wings. Can Rednass come back at Game for Life into the bus stop chicane? No, he's too far back. That's job done there for Game for Life. He'll be looking at Little Greavy and Hot Wings pretty shortly, one would imagine, as Joram fastest lap of the race that last time around on the hard tyres. Really flying there out the front at this point. Magpie's gaining on the 3 leaders, by the way, just whilst we've been watching Joram and Demsbecki and also Game for Life getting ahead of Rednass. Magpie's actually gained quite a bit on them, obviously on the faster tyre, but he seems to have the pace despite his layoff, not being here for a little while. He has really jumped back into the game and he's jumped him right at the deep end, to be fair, as Bennett has made the move on Demsbecki up into 2nd place down the Camel Straight into the Coombe, and that's job done there. Bennett into P2, but obviously he's now a little way off of Joram as those two have been battling over the last lap. That's just allowed Joram to just stretch his legs a little bit out the front. As Game for Life has got a 3-second time penalty there, I presume for track limits. So he's obviously been just running the risk a little bit too much, and unfortunately he's got done for it. Wings though looking to continue to try and pick drivers off here in this race. Lap 6 of 22. The race at Spa always seems to fly by because it's not many laps, but it's a very fast circuit. So it's not. So obviously it's a long circuit, but it's very fast. So it's over. You feel like it's, you hardly had any of it and it's already over. I always find that in real life. The Spa Grand Prix always goes extremely quickly. But right now, Little Greavy just ahead of Hot Wings. Hot Wings, though, has got the run. No DRS down this part of the track. Obviously, you've got Blanchimont, which is a fast left-hand bend, which you need to put a lot of lock on to get it in. So it wouldn't be really safe to have DRS down this part of the track. But for the time being, Hot Wings just a little bit too far away off of the back of Little Greavy. Magpie is still keeping on the fringes of the podium runners. Didn't get a good run, though, coming out onto the start-finish straight. A little bit too far back on Demsbecki at the moment. Oh, it's Rednass has dropped it. Coming out of the bus stop chicane, Rednass has had a big moment. He might have damage on the car as well, and that's the worst possible place you want to get damage because you've just passed the pit entry, so you've got to drive around the entire lap with damage on the car. It doesn't look like it's too bad. The front wing hasn't come off, but I imagine that it's not going to be in perfect nick at this point, and that will be costing him time in this race as Joram has still got just over a second of a lead over Bennett right now. Demsbecki there in 3rd place. Magpie's just dropped off for the top 3 a little bit over the course of this lap so far. You've got Hot Wings, who's currently on the back of Little Greavy as these guys are battling out over 5th and 6th places. There's Game for Life a long way ahead of T, who's running in 8th place. GGJ has just picked up a 3-second time penalty there we're seeing for multiple track limit warnings. He's now got a bit of a run here on Raki, and Raki there no match for GGJ with the DRS open. GGJ is up into 12th place. Hot Wings has got another 3-second time penalty there for track limits. The track limits are being absolutely royally taken advantage of here tonight. Demsbecki still on the back of Bennett as these two just under a second apart, but they are dropping off for the leader Joram as we speak. Joram just enjoying himself out the front, stretching his legs, doing what he has to do. Only one retirement so far tonight here at the Belgian Grand Prix, which is a bit of a turn up because infamously this race always seems to throw up a few retirements. I remember season 1 being pretty much proof of this. And last season, I think, as well, I seem to remember last season was a bit messy. I can't remember. Maybe I'm misremembering it. But yeah, I just remember F1 2020 at Spa was a nightmare. I think we started with 16 drivers and we finished with 6 or something like that. Something crazy like that. But we see Redknapp has got a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. So he's just been pushing it a little bit too much by the seams of it. He's just over a second behind T at the moment. He's got Carpentier breathing down his neck, which might be prompting him to push those limits a little bit to try and keep that position. Hot Wings has got the run here on Little Greavy though. This is for P5 looking to the inside up towards their comb, and that is going to be job done, I think, for Hot Wings. Yes, it is. Beautifully done there from him. He's very clinical at the moment in his overtakes. He's just picking his way through. Obviously on the hard tyres as well. He's only about 5-6 seconds off of the lead, so he's certainly not out of the hunt for a podium, I'd say, at this point. Is Hot Wings. She's shown very strong pace so far and good consistency as well. Magfire is on the back of James Becky here, and obviously being on the back of James Becky, he'll also be on the back of Bennett because those two are running pretty much together, although Magfire's just dropped a little bit of time through this middle sector so far. But nonetheless, starting to put the pressure on for these podium places. Joram, though, just doing what he has to do right now, has got over a 2-second lead and has clearly got the advantage here tonight. But Magfire's just his progress has just been halted a little bit. It's not really sort of coming down as much as it was. Just noticing there, Demis Becky has used up nearly all of his ERS. So has Bennett, to be fair. Bennett's only got 20% of his left. Joram's still with nearly 60% of his ERS, so he's been harvesting that absolutely superbly. Magfire's got 27% of his. Demis Becky's just got a 3-second time penalty. That will be music to Hot Wings' ears, because obviously he knows that he now just only needs to gain a couple of seconds and he'll be in with a shout of a podium spot. Obviously with Magfire doing his first stint on the mediums, he'll be slower in the second stint. Hot Wings will have to pace on Magfire in the second stint of this race. Little Greavy a bit wide there coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. Game for Life, though, is closed up onto the back of Hot Wings and Little Greavy. Little Greavy a little bit too far back on Hot Wings at the moment. Game for Life there, you see on board with him. You can see the two just up in front. You can see a P5 pretty much on the horizon at the moment. Not on the horizon, it's pretty much right in front of him. But Carpentier here is on the back of T, as these guys running in P9 and P10 at the moment. Lap 9 of 22 here at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Moti on the PlayStation 4 and 5 on the F1 game. Obviously season 4 here on the PlayStation platform. It's currently Joram still leading this race by just over 2 seconds right now ahead of Bennett. Demis Becky there about a second behind, as he's managed to put out a bit of a gap to Magfire over the last lap or so. Maybe those medium tyres just starting to go off ever so slightly at this point. And as they continue to just drop off ever so slightly, it's now kind of it's potentially now bringing that pit window into play, because Magfire might be thinking, well, I might as well put some fresh hards on now. They'll get me to the end. I might be able to grab a couple of quick laps whilst these guys have got worn out hards on their cars and maybe get the jump. Who knows what Magfire's going to do here. He's staying out for the time being, though, which is a bit of a surprise for me. It's got to be surely that it would either have been that lap or this one that he's currently starting now. In my opinion, he can't really afford to wait much longer. Little Greavy looking to the inside on Hot Wings, trying to throw a feint, but too far back at the moment. And what has happened to Game for Life? Game for Life's made a mistake coming out of the bus stop and it's dropped well off of the back of Hot Wings and Little Greavy. So what a shame there for Game for Life. Didn't see what happened there, but yeah, he's definitely not had the exit out of the bus stop chicane that I'm sure he'd have wanted. Redknapp has got just over a second here to T, as Carpentier is right on the back of T, as Little Greavy's got back ahead of Hot Wings into Lacombe. Carpentier, though, we're looking to also do what Little Groovy did to Hot Wings there and get ahead of T, as now we see them coming down the Camel Straight as the McLaren pulls out of the slipstream. Down the Camel Straight they come. DRS wide open there for Carpentier and into the braking zone. That is P9 done there, and that is routine stuff from him in that little swap over between those two, as we looked back up to the battle between second and third places. Bennett and Demspecki just under a second, currently still separating them. Demspecki still in DRS range at the moment. Bennett, obviously your championship leader as it stands, will be losing 7 points to Jelram in the championship. The gap between them in the championship, I think it's 17 points in favour of Bennett, so he'd still be leading. If it stays as it is right now, he'd still be leading the championship, but Jelram would be cutting that gap from 18 to 11 points as it stands. But Bennett has been Mr. Consistent so far this season. His only retirement came at Austria through absolutely no fault of his own. He got absolutely speared off the road by the Grieve when they came into turn 4 at the Red Bull Ring. Lap 1, torrential rain, to be fair. Don't think it was intentional, but he was out of the race very early on there, and that has just... He could have been way ahead at this point. He could have been absolutely sailing off into the distance with this championship. As it is, a 17-point gap's no mean feat, but he could have had more. He could have had a race win and a half potentially in terms of a gap if it hadn't been for that. But nonetheless, we're here. It's how it is. It is what it is, and we can see Hot Wings into the pits. So is Game for Life, Rednas, Carpentier, and P. Cheward. So we see 5 drivers all coming in here on lap 10 of the race. So we've got, I think, a few of them. Well, actually, interestingly, you've got quite a few of them switching onto the mediums. So they reckon they can make the mediums last. But nobody opted for the soft tyres in the first stint. Obviously, people probably assuming that the soft tyres don't really work around this circuit, knowing that you can't really do a one-stopper if you start on the soft. So we see a lot of them coming in to put the hard tyres on here, but a lot of them staying out at the moment. You've got Jelram, Bennett, Demspecki still out there. Magpie's obviously got to put the hard tyres on and do his stint on the hards, nonetheless, they'll have good durability. I'm surprised he hasn't come in yet. He's probably just trying to maximise the time that he's on those mediums, but I think he's missing a trick. I think he'd have better pace if he switched to the mediums now. I think a fresh set of mediums would definitely have the advantage over a worn set of... A fresh set of hards would have the advantage over a worn set of mediums, but he's opting to keep it out there for as long as he possibly can. So just to fill you in, the highest runner in terms of the pit stop drivers is Hot Wings. He's running on the medium tyres, good to go to the end. Started on the hards, obviously. GGJ still yet to pit down in P8. He said to me earlier on he was hoping for a top 5. He said that he's racing on a new rig tonight, so he wasn't expecting miracles. But nonetheless, it's been an okay performance from him, and let's see if we can get some points here tonight. It might be a bit of a stretch, but who knows. Demspecki's still on the back of Bennett. These two second and third at the moment, half a second separating them. T has just lost out to Hot Wings there. Hot Wings has made the move into the bus stop chicane and has already pulled out about a second to him as T is coming into the pit, so that's why Hot Wings just suddenly seem to stretch that gap massively coming through the bus stop chicane. So here comes T to make his stop at the end of lap 11. But Jelram's still out in front. He's got 3 seconds at the moment over Bennett. You've got Demspecki there running half a second behind Bennett at this point. Magpie there a little way off of them. T in the pits currently. Also Raki in the pits as well. So this is a battle for second and third places. Jerome, the race leader, is into the pits at the end of lap 12, so he'll be able to do a 10-lap stint on those medium tyres to the end of the race. Bennett and Demspecki 1 and 2 here in this race as they're now starting lap 13. And Magpie also following Jerome in, and so is Little Greavy as well. So here he comes into the pits. Bit of a gap back to Hot Wings, who's currently the highest runner of the pit stop drivers. But Joram is already out of the pits, so he is now coming out of turn 1. Magpie there about 5 seconds behind him. As Little Greavy's in the pit box and is now off and away. There's Hot Wings coming down into turn 1. Who's going to come out ahead of between Hot Wings and Little Greavy? I think Little Greavy's just going to get that done into 5th place. Magpie's gone for the soft tyres. Wow, that's ballsy. Nobody else has gone for the soft tyres at all tonight. I don't know whether that's going to work. People generally seem quite opposed to running them here tonight at Spa. We've seen a few people start on hards. We've seen a few medium stints as well. I mean, does Magpie know something we don't? I doubt it. I can't see why everybody's gone for the hards and the medium tyres tonight if the softs are in any way a tyre that work around here. I can't imagine that Magpie is going to get too much done here, but Bennett's still leading the race by just over a second at the moment over Dem Specky. As that gap's now coming down a little bit, coming through this final sector. These two obviously still got a pit. Are they going to come in this lap, or are they going to keep going, try and do a soft stint at the end maybe? Who knows? Or are they just going to play it safe? I think maybe Magpie came in a bit early for the softs. Oh, as we see, here comes Bennett now. So Bennett is coming into the pits at the end of lap 13. So that's Dem Specky now released into the lead. Hot Wings has picked up a time penalty there. Three extra seconds added to his race time. As Bennett is just getting his tyres changed now. So he's put a set of mediums on. So I wonder if Dem Specky's just trying to stay out a bit longer so he can maybe do a stint on the soft. He'll have the fastest and freshest tyres out there. As we can see, Bennett is now down. It's just been just been passed by Jerome and the safety car's out. So what's happening here? What's going on? Well, DJ Phil crashed out of the race very early on. With the safety car's out, I don't actually know why, to be honest with you. But Dem Specky is the race leader, so he'll be the one picking up the safety car on the next lap. But we're not going to pick it up now for probably another lap or so. So it's going to be a little while until this safety car's done. Probably going to be at least lap 17, I would say, until this is all sorted. But we're probably going to see a few pit stops, maybe a few drivers chancing a stint on the softs maybe. We've seen Magpie putting them on, also GGJ and Carpentier. Yeah, well, I reckon Magpie could be in with a shout of a win here. You know, he's just put another set of fresh softs on. So Magpie, who knows what he could do here, because he'll be starting in P6 on this restart. He'll be right behind the leaders. Obviously, they'll be on mediums in front of him. Maybe Dem Specky's going to put the soft tyres on. I would imagine your race leader could actually, you know what? Dem Specky, he's going to come out in the lead, I reckon. Dem Specky's going to come out in the lead, or maybe second or third, on some fresh soft tyres. So this could go very well indeed here for Dem Specky, as into the pits he comes. As he trundles through the pit lane and up towards his pit box now. So here he goes then. What's he putting on the car? Medium tyres for Dem Specky. Not risking it. Magpie could still be in the prime position here, I'll tell you that. And nobody opting to come in for a fresh set of boots. So that's a bit confusing for me. I'm surprised. I thought there would be a bit of chopping and changing, but apparently not. Nobody really tempted to go for that elusive strategy call. So the only drivers on the soft tyres to even run the soft tyres in this race are Magpie, GGJ, Carpentier, Raki and Twitch Storms. And everybody else has opted for a medium hard or hard medium stint. As we can see, Game for Life has now put the soft tyres on and is now on his way out of the pits. But it is Joram who leads the race here on lap 15. I think it'll be either ending up 16 or 17. I reckon we're going to go racing again. So we're going to have 5 or 6 more laps here at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix, round 7 of 15 for season 4 here on the F1 game on the PlayStation platform. Been a bit of a dramatic race so far. Been all dry as well, which is unusual for this season, because this season we've had quite a lot of wet races. So a bit of a turn up, no sort of weather variability so far anyway. I mean, who knows? I can't see there being any sort of I can't see the weather throwing up any more surprises in these last 7 laps, to be honest. It's looking pretty consistent at this point, but who knows? You never know, do you? Something could always crop up. But lap 15 off 22, you've got Joram and Bennett both on fresh mediums. So is Demsbecky, Little Greavy and Hot Wings on relatively fresh mediums as well. Magfire on fresh soft tyres. We'll only have to do about 6 racing laps on those as well, so he'll be in a great position to do something at the end of this race. What can Magfire get done here with these top 5? He could be in a real position to challenge at the end of this race. Rednas on hards, so is P. Cheward. They're going to struggle, I think, because they're going to have GGJ, the likes of GGJ, Game for Life and Carpentier right behind them. T's also going to struggle, I think, on those hard tyres, so is HD Baguette. You've got Raki on the soft as well as Twitch Storm, so I could see Rednas, P. Cheward, T and HD Baguette dropping down this pack as this as the final laps of this race unfold. Also, Crest Anime on the medium tyres might fancy a couple of places in the final few laps, but we're going to have at least one more lap under safety car here. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight, and obviously to those who have liked the video. Please, guys, if you haven't already, smash that like button. It really does help us out enormously. Apologies that we didn't get the stream on until lap 2 of the race. We had a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. Long story short, and I will explain myself. My nan wanted me to take a painting off of the wall, or she wanted me to move it from its perch on the wall down to a lower point. So I then moved it, and then she was complaining that it wasn't secure, and I was saying, look, it's secure, it's hooked up to its little perch, it's fine, stop worrying. And so she just kept on having a go at me and moaning at me and basically just saying, oh, it's not safe, it's not secure, blah 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 blah. And in the end I just lost it, and I just started like shouting, and then there was an argument, and then obviously I wasn't in a frame of mind to commentate straight away. You know, these things happen, family's family, you know, shit happens. But I think it's all good now. She's gone downstairs to watch the TV, bit of Friday night entertainment for her, so I think she'll get over it. But nonetheless, Joram, Bennett, Demsbecky, Little Greavy, Hot Wings, your top 5 all running on the medium tyres right here then. I wonder if we're going to go racing this lap or the next, because I think Twitch Storms is still a little way off. Crest Anime is in the pack, but a lap down. So it's literally just Twitch Storms that we're waiting on now. I reckon that the race director can call it in here, to be honest. I reckon Twitch Storms will be round in time. He's only 12 seconds behind the pack, so we should be able to go racing here. I can't see any reason why we aren't going to go racing at the end of this lap, but who knows. It would be a late call at this point, though, I tell you that. Here we come through Blanchimont. No sign of the safety car being called in yet. It's pretty much now or never, isn't it, really? Yeah, I don't think we're going to be going this lap, to be honest. I think this is... I think we are doomed to at least one more lap on the safety car, which is a shame, because we're only going to get 5 laps of racing here. And this will obviously play into the hands of the guys who are up the front, Joram and Bennett, namely. So I'll quickly just run you through the championship standings coming into this round, because because obviously I did get them done after last week's race, so they are up to date. I'm just going to grab them up on my phone. So just checking out our F1 League entry on our partners simleaguepro.com. So currently coming into round 7 tonight at Spa-Francorchamps, the championship standings looks like this. So it's Bennett LCFC leading the way, not by as much as I thought it was actually. I thought it was leading it by more than this. Only 13 points clear of Gelram. So as it stands, Gelram will close that gap to 6 points, maybe 5 if he manages to get the fastest lap. Although having said that, there are a few drivers on them soft tyres, so I don't think he will be able to get fastest lap. My tip for fastest lap is either Magfire or GGJ, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But Bennett leading the championship by 108 points, 13 clear of Gelram in second on 95. Then there's a massive gap to Little Greavy in third on 44 points. Tezamaza, who's since retired from the championship, was in fourth place on 40 points. P. Cheward in fifth on 37. Max GT in sixth on 36 points. HD Baguette in seventh on 35. Demsbecky sits in eighth on 34 points. The Mutsnuts in ninth on 31 points. The Grieve sits 10th on 27 points. Crest Anime in 11th on 24 points, followed by Rednass in 12th on 5. Penguin Dude also on 5. T and Raki in 14th and 15th places respectively, both on 4 points. DJ Phil in 16th with 1 point. 3 Rock currently, as well as Chicken Wing, Game for Life and Thousand Corn, all on nil point apiece in 17th to 20th places in the standings. But nonetheless, we are here on lap 17 as we're about to go racing. We're going to come around on a few corners here, and then the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So it's going to be 5 laps to the finish, a 5-lap dash to the flag here for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. We've got 16 drivers still left in the race, which is quite unprecedented really. Usually we lose quite a few at Spa, so we've done quite well tonight, I'll tell you that. The guys are improving every season. The standard of driving, the standard of competitiveness in the motive leagues, it's getting better and better every single game, every single season. Guys like Gelram pushing his rivals to the limit. You got Bennett, who's really improved massively from F1 2021-22, and bear in mind he was pretty bloody good at 2021 as well, but he's taken a massive step on this game. Demsbecky right there as well. Magfire returning to the league. GGJ always up there. You've got plenty of drivers who are more than capable of battling it out at the top. Got a couple missing this week obviously, which is a shame, but you know, you got a very competitive grid here. But the 2 big guns in the championship, currently 1 and 2 in the race, although the other way around from where they are in the championship. Bennett leads the way by 13 points, and can he extend the gap? Can he get ahead of Gelram and extend the gap to 20 points, or is Gelram going to cut it down to 6 going into next round? As we can see a bit of change in the order here. What is going on? Carpentier is overtaking drivers under the safety car. What is happening here? What is he doing? There is a bit of congestion here. Gelram is just backing out the pack a bit. We know what he does. So somebody is leading the race. That's Crest Anime, who's just unlapped himself. So here we go then, and we've got a move here coming into turn 1 as Little Greavy's got ahead of Demsbecky up into 3rd place. Gelram the leading ahead of Bennett as Demsbecky's got back ahead of Little Greavy on the run up towards Eau Rouge. Side by side here between those two. Little Greavy just squeezing ahead. Can he keep it though? Demsbecky has to back out coming through Eau Rouge. No, he's going to keep it around the outside, straight on over Radion. And where's Little Greavy in all of this? Little Greavy's now got the run back on Demsbecky here as they're coming down the Kemmel Straight. Magfire also trying to attack on these guys as well, but we're almost 3 abreast coming into Lacombe. Little Greavy having a look to the inside of Demsbecky. Demsbecky holds on for the time being. You've got Magfire there right on the back of these guys on his fresh stuff tyres. We're hoping to pounce pretty shortly, but it's Gelram leading ahead of Bennett at the moment, followed by Demsbecky, who's got Little Greavy in hot pursuit as they're coming down the hill. As Rednass has dropped off for the top 6 a little bit. The top 6 starting to break away from the rest of them here. GGJ's got goes up into 8th place there ahead of T, so that's a good move there from GGJ. Gelram though leading ahead of Bennett, followed by Demsbecky. At the moment they're right behind Crest Anime, who is a lapped car and will have to get out of the way, I'm sure. and might be just proving to be a bit of a distraction here for the race leader. But Joram currently in the position he needs to be to take points off of his championship rival and close that gap down to 6 points here at Spa tonight. So he's doing what he needs to do at this point. Little Greavy only half a second behind Demspecki at the moment. He's just ahead of Hot Wings, running in 5th place. Magpie there is right on the back of Hot Wings as well on those soft tyres now. He'll be hoping that DRS will be open as soon as possible. Here he goes. Magpie's got a heck of a run here, coming through in Blanchimont, keeping it around the outside. Hot Wings there trying to squeeze him out. Magpie is still there. Is he going to try and send one into the bus stop chicane? He is going to go for it there. Hot Wings trying to keep it around the outside. Oh, Magpie has to get out of it a bit there. And that's just cost him a bit of time as Joram fastest lap of the race. There are 47.4 from the race leader, but Bennett, though, is keeping tabs with him, is not allowing him to run off here as Crest Anime has crashed out of the race, and we're down to 14 runners. We've lost Game for Life and Crest Anime since this restart, so it's been a bit of a hectic restart. Joram leading by a second over Bennett. Demspecki there in third. You've got Little Greavy. Hot Wings a couple of seconds back in fifth. There's Magpie, who's trying to get something done here with Hot Wings, but we've got 4 laps left in this race, and we're right at the closing stages of this one. HD Baguette has managed to get herself in the points there, and it's on the back of Carpentier as they're coming up through Radion, as she will get DRS down the Kemmel Straight. Magpie has got the move done on Hot Wings. Has he completed it though? Hot Wings has managed to keep it there around the outside. Magpie getting squeezed out again. Hot Wings doing a great job there keeping onto that one. Little Greavy's lost out to Demspecki. Demspecki's back up into 3rd place. Twitch Storms and Raki having a battle here. Twitch Storms around the outside, coming through turn 9, is up into 11th place, but Magpie still can't get the move done on Hot Wings. Rednass is on the back of GGJ. GGJ's actually got that move done, into 7th place on Rednass. GGJ upper position. HD Baguette couldn't get Carpentier down the Kemmel Straight. T is on the back of Raki now, trying to get himself up to 12th place if he can. Joram's gap to Bennett just over a second, and he's just keeping that around the same at the moment. Bennett's just not able to get within that striking distance at this point. He's doing his fastest laps of the race, but it's not enough at the moment, unfortunately for him. Magpie is still on the back of Hot Wings here, half a second currently between these two, but the more time he spends behind Hot Wings, the less chance he's got of getting himself onto the podium in his return race here tonight. As P. Stewart has got ahead of T up into 13th place. Magpie has made the move on Hot Wings there, up into 5th as they're coming now down towards the bus stop. Magpie has got incredible straight line speed, I tell you what. He's flying down the fastest sections of the track here tonight as Demspecki, fastest up of the race, is closing in on Joram and Bennett a little bit. Bennett is now within a second of Joram, so he's done some decent work there coming through that final sector. He's keeping Joram on his toes at the moment. He's not dropping off of him. Joram has got pretty much the same ERS battery as Bennett. Demspecki's got pretty much none left, so he's going to be really struggling in the final 3 laps of this race, but it is still race on here between Joram, Bennett and possibly Demspecki as well. Hot Wings there with a 3-second time penalty, trying to get back onto Magpie. He's too far back coming down the Kemmel Straight. Magpie has got P5 there and can maybe try and chase down Little Greavy, who's a couple of seconds up the road there, running in 4th place. Can Magpie maybe sneak onto the podium with those fresh soft tyres? It might be a bit of a push, but let's see what happens. HD Baguette's still on the back of Carpentier, but still can't get herself up into 9th place for the time being. P. Stewart is still on the back of Raki as they're coming to the end of the Kemmel Straight. T has just dropped off at him a little bit there, running in 14th place. Joram though with over a second now to Bennett. He's just gained another couple of tenths coming to the first sector. Bennett's also gapped Bennett by just over a second. Bennett's nearly gapped Bennett. Bennett's gapped Demspecki by just over a second there. Little Greavy running in 4th place, 2.5 seconds behind them at the moment. You've got Magpie there, a couple of seconds behind Little Greavy. He's now trying to reel him in if he can, but I think the podium spots might be a little bit beyond Magpie at this point. P4 probably the summit of his ambitions here tonight. Joram those opening up here, coming through this middle sector. He gained about half a second just through that middle sector alone. Bennett just can't live with Joram at the moment. Now Demspecki is almost within a second of Bennett and could be challenging for P2 here. I tell you what, if Demspecki can get ahead of Bennett, then that will really be helping Joram out in the points, because Joram obviously 13 points behind Bennett coming into this round. If Demspecki can get ahead of Bennett, he'll be gaining 10 points on him, and the gap would only be 3 points in the championship in favour of this man here in the Aston Martin, who obviously currently running in P2 in this race, but losing points to his championship rival, as Hot Wings is still keeping to the back of Magpie just about. Magpie now just only just over a second behind Little Greavy, so he's now starting to really make gains in the final couple of laps of this race, as P. Stewart's now got ahead of Raki up into 12th place. Nicely done there from P. Stewart, I assume into the bus stop chicane, as T is into the pits here on the penultimate lap of the race. In fact, he's retiring and T is out of the race, so we're down to 13 runners here in this race. What a shame there for him. hasn't had the race really, has he, to be fair? Demspecky's within half a second of Bennett here in the battle for second and third places. Magfire 1.2 off the back of Little Greavy, still keeping tabs on that one, and Hot Wings is coming with him, to be fair. Hot Wings is not completely fallen off of the back of Magfire. He's stuck to the task pretty resolutely, as HD Baguette has got ahead of Carpentier up into 9th place, so good job there from her. Racky's just falling off of the back of P2 a little bit in that battle for P12, as we've got a lap and a half left to go here at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. The gap staying at about around 1.7 seconds. Demspecky really keeping that pressure on Bennett as we're right in the closing stages of this race. What can Demspecky do here with Bennett in the final lap of the race? Can he try and take a few more points off of Bennett and help his mate Jerome out? I don't know if they're mates, actually, to be fair. I don't think they are. I think they're completely unrelated in terms of their pedigree here on the F1 game. But Demspecky right now could be helping Jerome out indirectly with these points. Darren Robertson says, has Pichu been involved in some incidents? Not really. He just picked the wrong strategy, I think. He was in the wrong place, wrong time. Put the hard tyres on a couple of laps before the safety car came out. And obviously not to change tyres, and pretty much was a sitting duck for all the guys on soft tyres behind him. That's really the situation that's happened there, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, HD Baguette always flies at the end of the races. She might have a slow start, she might just take a while to get into it, but it starts from the back, to be fair, so you know, you can understand it. But P9 in this race, so she's made some real great gains here. I always mention it because she does start from the back every time. It really can't go understated. You know, I feel bad for like sort of not paying attention to the fact that she comes from the back of the grid every week. She doesn't qualify because she doesn't like being involved in the carnage, but she's done a good job here. Oh, she just lost out to Carpentier there. Carpentier's got ahead of HD Baguette up into Lacombe and is up into 9th place there, so nicely done there from Carpentier. GGJ is now ahead of Red. Oh, Magfire's dropped down. Magfire's lost a few places. What's happened here? Magfire's made a big mistake and has lost out now. Carpentier's up into 8th place. Can HD Baguette get ahead of Magfire? Yes, she can. She's up into 9th there. Magfire has dropped down to P10 here on the final lap of the race. But what has gone on there to Magfire? Nonetheless, Joram here coming through the middle part of the lap here into the final sector now, and it's going to be a victory here for Joram. What a drive it's been from a man in the Red Bull. He's done a superb job here tonight. Joram here, the two-time champion of the F1 League, will be closing the gap in the championship to Bennett by quite a bit. Bennett came into this with a 13-point lead. Joram, though, has done everything right. Both of them very evenly matched around Spa, but Joram just slightly better over the course of tonight as he weaves all over the place there. Joram with the victory here at Spa-Francorchamps for round 7 of season 4. Bennett comes over to take second place. Demspecky completes the podium. Little Greavy gets the podium place ahead of Demspecky due to Demspecky's penalties. Hot Wings comes over to take P5, although GGJ gets Hot Wings on the penalties. So GGJ 5th, Red Nass takes P6. So Hot Wings really accumulating quite a lot of penalties there in the end. P7 for him. HD Baguette jumps Carpentier into 9th. Magfire jumps both of them into 8th. Carpentier racking up quite a few penalties as well. He's lost out to Twitch Storms. Twitch Storms gets a point for P10 as Carpentier 11th in the end. P2 had almost got ahead of Carpentier on the penalties, but has to settle for 12th. And Raki completing the classification, the last driver to finish in P13. And what a race that was, guys. That was brilliant stuff. Fantastic here at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix here tonight. Really enjoyed that one. Guys, if you did enjoy, please smash the like button. If you want to join Motive Racing, if you want to get involved in the F1 leagues, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. I'd love to get a second tier going for the F1 league, although this week we didn't have as many as we usually have. Usually we have a full grid, but this week we had a few short. A few couldn't make it tonight, and we didn't really have the interest that we usually have from reserve drivers. I don't know if it's just, I mean, Spa's a popular track, so I don't know. But nonetheless, I'd love to get another F1 league going. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If we can get maybe a Saturday league going, a realistic league with realistic car performance, I'll be placing drivers into the league, into the teams based on their skill level. So the faster drivers who I know are quick will be going in the slower cars like the Hasses and not the Hasses. It's not 2021 anymore. It'd be like the slower cars like the Williams. Sort of like, yeah, basically the Williams, but anyway, yeah, Williams, Aston Martin, that sort of one. Not Aston Martin so much, but you know what I mean. The slower cars, the fast drivers are going to slower cars, and obviously you get the drivers who are not up there so much will be in the faster cars like the Red Bull and the Ferrari. But yeah, I'd love to do that if we could on Saturday nights. That'd be epic. But nonetheless, guys, if you do enjoy, please smash the like button. Join us at www.motiveracing.com. If you're one of the drivers, share it with your friends and family. We'll see you next week for the F1 League. We'll be back at the same time as always, 6:45 p.m. UK time. Still on BST, I think, for one more week, maybe two. I think it might be next week at Spa, and then the one after at Zandvoort will still be on BST. From Monza onwards, on the 4th of November, we will be on GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, for our kind of like winter sort of like clock, sort of like time zone. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. We're going to shoot off now. Have a great weekend to all of you, and we'll see you at Zandvoort next week for the Dutch Grand Prix. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.